Yeah.
Okay, so guys, here with Will today, what we're going to do, as we sort of carried on from last week with a bit of a refresher around our fundamentals, so a bit of a beginner's corner. So this week, we're going to focus on the next step in the process. Last week, we spoke about programs and memberships. Today, what we're going to speak about is what happens when someone inquires about our Irresistible Offer. So Will's at a point where he is creating and is about to launch his offer.
Yep.
So, Will, my question to you is, let's say someone inquires and says, hey, Will, really interested in your 30-day get rid of my dad bod project. I don't know where that came from, but it worked.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because that's my project at the moment. What would you do? Let's say you got an inquiry through from Facebook. What would you do next?
I'd say, righto, come in, let's have a deeper talk about it, I guess, like get more details and
Yeah, I hope you'd be a bit more formal than that. But yeah, that's a good start. Okay.
Yeah.
So without going into the formalities of it, because obviously that's what we can help to fill the gaps with, what would the next step be? So they've inquired, you've responded to them. What happens next?
I guess throw a couple more offers at them, maybe.
Yeah, but what if you? Okay, so let's paint this scenario. What if they've inquired? Yep, Will, it's Bo here. Mate, I just saw your flyer on Facebook. I really want to get rid of my dad bod. Can you help me? You say yes. I say great. You say come into PLC and let's have a chat about it all in person. Great.
Yeah.
I show up. Tell me how the chat goes. I'll give you the starting.
Would it be like let's?
That's
yeah.
Mate, there's trainers who forget it. I promise you.
Yeah. So I guess introduce myself, sit down with them, and talk. Get a little bit more idea on what other goals they want. So short, long, and medium-term goals.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Find out what times suit them to come in and do the sessions.
Mm-hmm.
If it's one-on-one, or if they want to join the semi-private groups or things like that.
Yep. What else? So have a quick chat. What's next? Do you want to see how they move?
Yeah. So I guess what would you do? Like would a pre-exercise questionnaire fall in? I guess that'd fall in there somewhere. Yeah.
Absolutely, it falls in there. You bet it does.
Yep. And find out. I guess that'd be a part of the pre-exercise questionnaire. Like find out any injuries or something like that they're currently dealing with.
Yep, 100%.
See if they've. What else would there be? I guess like maybe do like flexibility testing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so that's all part of your practical phase. You want to do some movement assessments. You want to see how they move. You want to see how strong they are. You want to gauge their level of ability. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And I know we're sort of fast tracking here, but once you've got all that information, what would you then do with that? What would happen next?
I guess once they've decided on what sort of, if it's a one-on-one, you could sort of maybe pre-organize a sort of like a basic workout template. That's what we're going to be focusing on.
Yep.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Could do that. What are you going to sign them up to?
I'd sign them up to the.
Oh, I had you and I lost you. There you go.
Yeah, they are.
There we go.
Sign them up to my Kickstarter offer.
Yep.
And then I guess that'd sort of be it until that's over. Then we talk about long-term stuff, wouldn't we?
Sure. Can do.
Yeah.
Can do. Good starting point, though. Great starting point. Okay. Let's go right back to the very start. Okay. And we're going to break this down now. This is going to be in depth, and I'm going to send through. I've actually got a really cool PowerPoint that I will send through the chat again, mate. Really encourage you to download it and just have a
Yeah.
flick through the slide. The beauty of the slides is that it's all in PowerPoint, all in bullet point. It's a PowerPoint, but it's in bullet point. And we'll give you the really important points, and then obviously with what we'll do the next couple of weeks, this process will take more than it'll take more than 45 minutes to go through. So we'll start today, and then we'll wrap up next week. So you've got a really good idea. But reality is that you're about to put your irresistible offer together. You're going to get inquiries come through.
Yeah.
So let's go from that point. Now, those inquiries come through. Rule number one, when we get an inquiry through, the last thing we want to do is open up a long-winded conversation on Facebook Messenger or via SMS or via email. That's the last thing we want to do. Ideally, what we want to do here, I use a rule of 5. So I give myself 5 messages to take the inquiry from a message or an email to a booking for a phone call. Okay, rule of 5. So it might be, thank you for your inquiry. How can I help? Oh, I've just seen this and this and this. Great. Is there a time tomorrow, or again the next? You want to do it within 48 hours. Is there a time, today or tomorrow, that we could catch up for a chat to further discuss what it is that you really want to achieve? And they'll say yes. And then I'll use my last couple of messages to book the time and say, book the time, grab their number, and say that I'm looking forward to speaking with them. Okay, so that's step number 1.
Yeah.
Is I want to take that conversation from a message to a phone call. Okay.
Yeah.
In the phone call, what I'm then looking to do, and because I've either booked them later today or for tomorrow, I don't really need to remind them. Okay. Sometimes if you like, you can set a plan in Messenger. You can do things like that. That's fine. That's a nice little extra now. But ideally, what I'm looking to do here is get them to a phone call. And on that phone call, I'm looking to use that to pre-qualify them. Okay. So I call this a pre-qualification call.
Right.
What I'm looking to do here is to ask them 4 questions. It's probably a little bit more than 4, but I'm using a format where I use 4 questions. First one, where are they right now? So I want to find out, hey, how you going? How's your day been? What have you been up to? What do you do for work? Are you married? I want to go through that quick. And then I want to talk about where they are now in terms of their current health and fitness regime. Okay?
Yeah.
What I then want to focus on is where they want to go. So I want to ask them about their goals. Okay, I want to ask them what is it they want to achieve. And some people are going to say, well, you know what, I'm getting married in 4 weeks' time, or 8 weeks' time, or I've got this coming up, or you know what, I really need to lose some weight and I want to start today. Great. Okay. Third question, I want to know what's stopping them. I want to know what's stopping them from achieving what it is they want to achieve. Okay, so this is where you want to pay particular attention here to the things that they're saying. You want to pay particular attention here to the things that they will say are their challenges. They might talk about time. They might talk about not knowing what it is to do. They might talk about lack of nutrition plan. There's lots of reasons or / excuses that people use as to why. And you've probably heard them. Oh,
yeah.
You know what? Well, I don't have enough time, or I wasn't sure what to do here, or I wasn't sure about this, or I don't know about that. Once you know what they are, then you can go to the next step and the last question, which is, how can you help them? Now, the way that you can help them, of course, is by them jumping onto your 30-day irresistible offer. But the way we want to explain this is to explain that the irresistible offer is going to help break through some of those challenges that they're currently experiencing. So if it's a time thing, you know what, clearly it's a prioritization issue. You haven't found the time because you're not making the time, you're not prioritizing the time. So when you've got an appointment with me once a week, we're going to make sure that you're here. If it's not knowing what to do in the gym, you know what, we're going to do that because we're going to develop an individualized program for you. If it's nutrition, well, we're going to give you a really easy to follow guideline that you can use. Again, it's showing that your program, your irresistible offer, and you can use this from a longer term viewpoint as well, but it's really a matter of showing that your program, your product is a solution to people's problems. Okay. Now, ideally, what we want to do at the end of that phone call is book them for a time one-on-one to do a face-to-face consult. Okay. So that's the next step.
Yeah.
Now, that's on the most part. What you'll find over time, and I've said this to everyone, I know I've said this in sales training before or consultation training before, you'll find as you grow in confidence, you'll be able to sell people over the phone like that, because you'll show that your program is a solution to their problem, and then you'll be able to discuss what the next step is. Now, for some people, the next step is going to be, come in, let's take a seat, let's go through things in a lot more detail.
Yeah.
For others, it's going to be, this is what's next, so our program is this, it costs this much, and this is your next step. And away we go. Let's use the first one. Let's say that you use this pre-qualification call to book them in face-to-face. Okay. Next step here is that you want to, this is all about booking your leads now. This is all about having a really good, a solid booking system where you actually get to know and the prospect gets to know you and what you're all about. So it's little things like adding them as a friend on Facebook. It's a little thing like sending them an SMS confirmation with their next appointment time with you. It's adding them to your VIP group or inviting them to like your PT page on Facebook. Lots of little steps that you can take here. I even like that if I'm calling someone new for the first time and I have a chat with them, I like to not stalk so much, but go through their business page and like a few posts and just show them that I'm taking interest in them. Okay, so I'm not just being interesting, I'm being interested in them.
Yeah.
Once I then get them face to face, that's when I want to go through my more diligent and complete process. And I really want to position myself here as an expert. I want to position myself as a specialist. Okay. On the phone, I just want to make sure that they're the right fit. I want to make sure that I can help them. I want to make sure that there's someone that I want to bring into my business. Okay. Hence, we're pre-qualifying.
Yeah.
Once I've got them in front of me, that's where I'm going to go through my longer, more diligent, thorough process. Okay. And I'm going to sit down first thing. I'm obviously going to say hello. I'm going to sit down with them and I'm going to go through the pre-exercise questionnaire with them. Okay. Now, the beauty of what I've already done on the phone is the fact that they feel like they already know me. So they're not coming to the studio. They're not coming to the studio. Look, they'll probably be nervous, but they won't be scared that they don't know what I sound like. They've probably seen me on Facebook, so they know what I look like. And we're going to be able to use that to our advantage to build that rapport, keep that relationship building process going. What we're then going to do is start with our pre-ex questionnaire, and we're going to obviously encourage them to fill that out. We're going to dig a little bit deeper as to why they haven't necessarily achieved what it is they want to, and what got them to this sort of what got them to this position in the first place. And all of this information you're then going to use in your consult process moving forward. The most important thing, once you've built rapport and you've got them to open up, the most important thing you can do in the first 10 minutes of your consultation is to do what? What do you reckon? What's the most important thing you've got to find out?
How committed they are, would it be?
That's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
What's going to be a statement? What's going to be a show of their commitment to the cause? So obviously they've set a goal. You know what that goal is. Yeah. What's the next most important thing you need to find out?
Their determination to get that goal.
Yeah. Why? Absolutely. Yeah. You need to find out why. Because once you know why, you're going to use that right through the rest of this process.
Yeah.
Okay, so find out why. I want to lose 10 kilos. That's great. Why? Because I'm sick of being called a fat kid. Right. How does being called a fat kid make you feel? Dig a little bit deeper, pour a bit of salt on the wound, make it burn, make it sting. You want them to feel the pain, because then when we get to the recommendation or the prescription, you get to take them all the way to the opposite end of the spectrum, which is painting a picture that has them happy, full of confidence, boasting with energy, etc., etc. Okay, all of those rub-off effects from being fitter, healthier, and 10 kilos lighter. Okay.
Yeah.
Flow-on effects, that's probably the word.
Could you it's probably too early to do this, but could you almost use like a testimonial sort of approach for that sort of thing, or not really?
You
So
can.
like,
There's a really you can definitely use
yeah.
testimonials in this process. I like to use testimonials at the end of this process when I'm actually prescribing the best way for someone to achieve their results, because it's a great way for them to
Okay.
not only
Yeah.
hear it from me, but to hear it from someone else, and to hear it from someone else who's done what they're about to embark on. Okay, I think that's a really good way to do it. So once I've gotten to know them a little bit more and I know why they want to achieve what they want to achieve, then that's where I want to go for that short workout, fitness assessment, movement assessment, mobility assessment, whatever it is that you come up with. Now, for me, this will differ based on who you work with. If I'm working with a rehab client, someone that needs postural correction, of course, I'm going to do a postural assessment. If I'm working with someone who wants to lose 10 kilos and they have very little experience, I'm not necessarily going to run them through a fitness test because I've got a fair idea of where they're at. I want to see if they can move. I want to see how they move. I want to see how they squat. I want to see how they lunge. I want to see how they pull, push, etc. Okay. If I've got someone who is coming to me and wants to achieve a performance goal, then I want to test them. Then I want to test them. I want to look for some deficiencies in their movement, because I know that if I correct those deficiencies, I'm going to make them strong. I'm going to refine their technique further and make them stronger overall. Okay, so it will vary dependent upon the client, dependent upon who you choose as your target client as well. I mean, in the outset for you, I'd encourage you to train anyone and everyone and really look to hone your PT craft as much as you can. Okay, once you've done that, there's two things that you want to look at in this practical phase. One, that you know your shit. You got to know your stuff. Okay, you got to be able to explain why you're doing what you're doing and how it's going to help them achieve what they want to achieve. Really important. If you can make those ties, you'll have great success in converting new clients. You'll have great success in working with clients because you'll be able to explain it in layman's terms. Okay. Second thing, you want them to feel like they can't do this without you. And by you showing that you know your stuff, that's going to be the case. All right.
Yeah.
Practical phase. Last phase is the recommendation or the prescription phase. The reason I call it a prescription, buddy, is for this reason. When you go to the doctor, what happens? What happens when you go to the doctor?
They find out, tell you what's wrong with you, and they give you something to help it.
Yep. Well, you tell them what's wrong. They say, well, this is what you got.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the script. Off you go. What do? You go to the chemist, you get your script, you do as you're told, and you get better within a week or two, on the most part.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take the same approach. I'm going to position you as the GP in this. I want to position you as a specialist. So this is where, as we went through last week, now, even if you're using an irresistible offer here, the process doesn't change. This is where what you can now do is sit down with your potential new client and go, okay, well, based on what we've discussed today and on our phone calls and the movement that we've done today and what we've gone through, this is what I believe to be the best thing for you right now. Boom. Here's our get rid of your dad bod project. It's our kickstart. We're going to kickstart things off. Over the next 30 days, here's what we're going to do. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to do this for this. You're going to see me once a week, but I'm also going to give you an individualized program so that you can come into the gym and train this and this. Or, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a 2-week free group trial to PLC so that you can do your one-on-one session with me and then come and check out some groups for a couple of weeks just to really get things started. And then go through all of those add value points within your irresistible offer. You get to the price point. You are very firm on your price point. There's no sense of nerves and going, oh, I guess it's only this much. No, it's $97. Do you have any questions? Simple.
Yeah.
The more weird you are about price points here, the more unsuccessful you'll be.
Yeah.
So the stronger and more in control and clear you can be about that. And look, it's about being confident in what you have to offer. Ultimately, you can't sell anything if you don't believe in it. And it's probably the biggest thing here. And this is why selling sessions is just, as we sort of discovered last week, and you saw the difference between selling sessions and selling programs and selling outcomes and results-based programs is that you have you speak with much more conviction when you talk about a program, when you talk about a result, when you talk about the entire approach and painting the whole picture, then come and see me twice a week and that's $100. Because if the person leaves and walks down the road and gets a couple of sessions a week for $80, I know exactly where they're going.
Yeah.
Okay. All you've done is devalue yourself. They've devalued themselves even further, but they've got the sale because they're cheap, and that's the last thing you want. Okay. So that's that process in a nutshell. Now, does that sound a little bit more thorough than what we first discussed?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Do you have any questions on that for me?
No, it's all pretty straightforward. Yeah.
I think the big thing now, overcoming objections. Everyone asks, Bo, I need something to overcome objections. Look, you do, but prevention's better than cure. And the prevention here is to have things set up in a way where you're promoting and selling outcomes rather than promoting and selling sessions. Promote your get rid of the dad bod. Promote your drop a dress size. Promote your body overhauls. Promote the outcome that people want.
Yeah.
And then position yourself in a way where what you've done is put this together because you know, as the specialist, as the expert, that this is what you need to get what you want. Now, from time to time, you will have an objection with price, and people say, well, there's no objections to price, it's just that people don't value it. Yes and no. There are some people out there who genuinely value what you do, but just simply can't afford it because they have families. I get it. But what we are able to do is sell them into something that might be once a week instead of twice a week. There are ways around it. But again, this is all in the setup phase. And this is all about being that little bit flexible and having options there for people to invest in. Okay. When it comes to objections about I need to ask my partner, or when it comes to objections about I'm not quite sure, I need to go and think about it, of course, ask the question, well, what is it that you'd love to think about? If they have some questions that are unanswered, I'd rather ask them on the spot, because 9 out of 10 times, most people that ask that question really don't have a question to ask. They just don't want to commit. So I would rather ask the question then and there, put them on the spot, answer the question, and then go, righto, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, in control, with conviction, with great belief in what you do. All right. Does that help, mate?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
So there's a journey from launching your irresistible offer, getting a new lead, and going through the upsell process. Okay. Now, as I say, over time, and look, I encourage you to go through the process of generate the lead, book the call, book them in face-to-face, and do the consultation to get some really good practice at your consultations, because you need that. Once you've done a few hundred, then you'll start to be able to sell them over the phone before you even meet them. Because again, you're building belief in your skill and in your programs and what you do. And that, of course, will be enough for you to be able to sell them over the phone, and then use that first face-to-face session to do weighs and measures and movement assessments and screens and things like that. Okay, which I think the Brittany's of the world and a couple of guys now have already moved into, which is great. I know Tamara's going that way as well now, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome, buddy. Any other questions for me?
No, you pretty well covered everything, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Next week, I'm going to go through how you can break the ice a little bit more with people. And we'll go through some relationship building stuff, which I know you'll enjoy. Being a public holiday, I didn't expect many to be here today, so that's okay. I've granted. I might even bring a guest on next week and have a bit of a chat with him. If it's not next Monday, it might even be during the week, so stay tuned to that. But he's fantastic as well. He's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this sort of stuff. So stay tuned for that. That'll be good to watch.
Cool. Yeah, definitely.
Cool, buddy. Great to chat, hey?
No worries.
If you have any questions, let me know.
Awesome. Cheers.
Enjoy your week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.